Hi. Do you have a booking with us?
Yes. First room on the right. Hello? Idris? Did anyone come?
Excuse me? You? Hello. I can't believe it. My ex-wife is upstairs. Patricia, this is Louise.
Hi.
Seems like she's been a good influence. You're not drinking?
We're having a great time.
Now I'm gonna feel really bad when I get you to start drinking. I'm aware of how uncomfortable the situation is.
I love you.
Right.
Yeah. What are you doing? You're impossible.
They need time to catch up, I guess.
Lover boy. Why do you have that?
I'm still doing music. We're here now, aren't we?
It's really something.
Louise wants to have a baby.
What'd you just say?
Oh, man, you got me right in the baby maker.
These old miserable bastards.
We were just having a bit of fun. I love you.
Why didn't you tell me your dad died? You coward.
You coward.
You can't deal with anything.
Stop talking!
There's been quite a lot of sort of screaming.
It's a nightmare situation for everyone involved.
Are you still writing songs about me?
I'll never get married again. That's just an idea.
Keep working.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, today we are absolutely thrilled to have with us the talented director of She Is Love, a film releasing quite soon here, Jamie Adams. Say hello to everybody, Jamie.
Hey, thank you for having me. Honestly, it's really good of you.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure, man. I saw your movie last night, and I got to tell you, I loved the dynamics between the characters, and the writing was there, and I like how it sort of explained that when you love somebody truly, that little flicker of light never quite goes out, and it's always there, but it just may present itself in a different way. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that was the starting off point, really, was we it was during the pandemic, I started to look through ideas that I'd written over the years and put in a drawer, and She Is Love, just it seemed to hit me as the one that we should do next, because essentially, I think during the pandemic, we all had time to, reflect on our lives. We were all feeling under threat, I think, and yeah, this idea of thinking back to our 20s and to the people that we loved, back when we were not fully formed, mature adults. I think you don't realize at the time, but I think in your 20s you're still trying to figure out so many things about transitioning into being what a responsible adult is meant to be in society, that you're struggling with that, and all the various other things that come with it, aging, and the idea of you're going to hit 30 and have you got your life figured out, and then you hit 30 and you go, oh, I didn't need to have it figured out. I'm we're just living through being young. And then in your 30s you kind of feel like you need to have it figured out. But that's where it all came from, is the idea of what would it be like to be able to see that person again, and now you're that much older, you're able to perhaps be able to deal with things that you weren't able to deal with back then, that ultimately ended the relationship.
I love that. There's definitely an existentialism to the film that I sort of unfortunately related too much to Idris because of that. I used to be a musician, so I was like, and when I was younger, and so like when I see him, and he meets this girl who loved him when he was that person, it just hit me. It hit me pretty hard.
Well, it's interesting you would say that, because I actually see the film as an existential crisis comedy.
Yeah.
It's we've got people, characters in this film are all trying to figure out, where they are and how to move forward in a more hopeful way.
Yeah, even Kate, who's a younger character, she's having an identity crisis and an existential crisis as well, just trying to figure out how to say her lines for this thing that she's got going on. I really love that little spark that was in there as well. I wanted to bring something up because I noticed the trend here. So Sam Riley played Idris, and he also famously played Ian Curtis in Control, who is a musician. Was that done on purpose, like, or was he just perfect for the role because he just looks the role of a guy who used to be a musician? What happened there?
Well, Sam Riley is the most rock and roll of his generation. In terms of, he had a band called 10,000 Things that in the mid noughties were very popular in Britain. He would like me to say the world, but specifically in Britain, 10,000 Things were popular. And he's a rock and roll star. That's it. And so he was perfect for Ian Curtis because of that reason, but also because he's turns out to be an even better actor. And so yeah, I wanted to work with him for a long time. I immediately, as I was writing the story outline, imagined him playing that role, and was very fortunate that both him and Haley, and Marissa, that they were all my first choice, and they were all available and interested and connected with the story. And I think for Sam, he's incredibly, he's all about expressing himself through his music, which he continued to do even if he wasn't in that band. And so he connected with Idris in the fact that, of course, Idris doesn't feel comfortable with expressing himself fully in terms of songwriting currently, since that the relationship with Patricia came to an end 10 years ago. And he's moved into DJing, which is much more of it's a less vulnerable place to be. It's a safer place to be.
So it's a
And the
more
music,
passive way to make music. Yeah.
it really is. You still remain creative and you still remain involved in performance and music in general, but you're using other people's words and music to express yourself. I mean, there's plenty of ways of being a DJ, and I suppose there are people that can express themselves through it, but most of the time you're playing the same set and you're playing, there's not a lot of too much of yourself coming out in that creativity.
And I think he mentioned that in the script, if I'm not mistaken. He mentions that to Patricia when she finds out about the DJing thing. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
same set.
yeah, exactly. Same set. They want to hear the same songs. But there are other people's songs. I mean, we did put in there that there's a couple of his original songs are in the set, and that's hard as well because he's not actually necessarily playing them; he's just playing them on the record. But Patricia does the same thing. Patricia, she also had to go and hide away, and so she hid her interest in being an author by becoming a publisher. And it's a similar thing. You're still being involved in the world, but you're not in the firing line. You're not directly expressing yourself. So yeah, they both kind of have to do that to keep themselves safe from harm.
I love talking about music with you because music is a prevalent theme in a lot of your film. I'm noticing that, Jamie, when I was looking through the other films, because I didn't realize I'd seen All Right Now a few years ago when we first started the website, and I'd seen Love Spreads a few years ago when it came out, and those are all very music-centric films as well. Is that something you try for? Like, is music like really important to you in your life, and is that why it's something that's in your film?
Yes, my brother's I'm the drummer, my brother's the musician, my brother's the singer-songwriter, and I was always envious of that. That was the one thing he could do better than me. I'm joking. No, he's he'll find that funny. But yeah, it was, I wasn't able to play the guitar. I wasn't able to play the piano. I was good at sports and really enjoyed making movies, but I just wasn't. I was the drummer. So I think that when I start writing characters or start thinking I do think about them in obviously I love exploring what it is to be an artist, especially artists that don't necessarily feel they deserve that title. and their insecurities and what that means. And I think that a lot of musicians are very insecure and also, generally only able to express themselves fully through song. And when you talk to them naturally, and I've been fortunate to meet quite a few of my heroes from 90s Britpop music and so on, and they're very shy and introverted, and it's completely different to the persona of when they're on stage or when they're, singing their songs on record. And that really fascinated me, the performance aspect of what it is to be a successful musician. So yeah, I'm fascinated with performance, and I think that's where it comes from.
I love that because that's exactly true. When the light switch goes on, charisma automatically just starts to melt in. It's true. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about yourself and Jamie, because I think it's very fascinating stuff that I'd love to know. First and foremost, we always ask all of our guests, who are some people you look to as inspirations, whether that be personal or professional, people that you've met or people that you look up to.
I look up to my 3 children for putting up with me every day. They are constant source of inspiration. I mean, I've got a 17 and 16-year-old daughters and 11-year-old son, and I'm being honest in terms of like, how inspiring they are. In terms of reflection, again, really, isn't it? It's kind of like, when I was 17 years old, it was the first time I went to the London Film Festival, and I'm from a very small town in Wales. And to go there at 17 with a friend of mine, to the big city, and to go to these films at a film festival, it really impacted me in such a huge way, and really, spurred me on in terms of the passion to be part of that community of filmmakers. And my daughter's turned 17 last year, and then that's when we take She Is Love to London Film Festival, and it's the first of my films that we took there, rather than going to South by Southwest or Tribeca or so on. So yeah, it was a real full circle moment, and I think that I think that is probably one of the most inspiring things that has happened. But if we're talking about art and so on, then there's the whole bunch of people I always go back to, which is, Rothko, Jean-Luc Godard, Kozlowski, Antonioni, Adam Sandler. There's a real commercial comedy element to me. I love Father of the Bride. I think that's one of the greatest films of all time. Jurassic Park is the film when I was 12 years old that made me go, hold on a minute, I forget football. I really need to find out what filmmaking is. I mean, Albert Camus, L'Étranger is my favorite novel. So yeah, a lot of varied stuff there.
Love that. Love that. So the hardest question I'm going to ask you today is the next one. We ask every guest this, and they always say the same thing. It's the hardest question. If you could only watch 2 movies for the rest of your life, what would they be and
why? She Is Love, because it's the greatest film of all time. And and then the next film I make, because that'll be better.
I love it. Always a salesman. I love it, Jamie. That's good stuff. I love it. Oh, you don't have to sell me.
I'll give you the honest answer. The truthful. It would be right now. It's Father of the Bride and La Double Vie de Véronique, the Krzysztof Kozlowski film with Irene Jacob. So
yes.
The Double Life of Veronica is the English title. But yeah, that's one I always go back to.
I love that. Actually, I love the first answer because, and when he says Father of Bride, I think you mean the Steve Martin version, not the original nor the remake that just came out last year, right?
I mean the Steve Martin version I grew up with as a kid. Yeah, absolutely. And I make my kids watch it at least once a month. It's Father of Bride 2 as well. I mean,
it's fantastic.
What a double bill. Father of Bride 2. It's incredible.
Martin Short is killer in that movie. I love it. I love that movie.
I mean, it's great storytelling. It's brilliant setup. And Steve Martin and Martin Short, I mean, they're proving it once again, aren't they? With Only Murders in the Building, they're the most watchable duo ever. And I mean, Diane Keaton in that film as well, though. Like, she's so much the character, you almost forget that Diane Keaton is in that film. Anyway, I do. So yeah.
I love that answer. That is a great answer. Now I only have a few minutes left here, so I'm gonna let you give people the elevator pitch for why they should see the current greatest film of all time, She Is Love, when it does come out.
Because hopefully, once you've watched it, you'll come away thinking about the people that have meant the most to you in your life, that you may not have expressed some kind of truth to them in a long while. And it might just lead to that one conversation that helps you move forward in a more hopeful way, you know?
God, that is so true. That's how I felt after watching it. So you pretty much nailed that. You guys have to check this out. This movie out when it does come out. It comes out tomorrow, right? January 27th?
It's February 3rd.
February 3rd. Got it. So everybody check out the film in your local cinema, yeah?
Yeah.
On February 3rd, it's got Haley Bennett, who is absolutely amazing, Sam Riley, and Marissa Abella, who's going to be playing Amy Winehouse here very soon. And they are all terrific in this movie, directed by my man Jamie Adams here. Check it out. It is called She Is Love. Anything else you'd like to tell our beautiful audience before we let you go, Jamie?
That you're an incredible interviewer. I really appreciate your time, and I hope whoever gets to see the movie really enjoys it. And if they do, then let me know. And if they don't, well, thanks for watching, but no problem.
I think they will, and I can't wait to tell everybody to go see the movie because I really did enjoy it. Guys, check it out for Film Snob Reviews. This has been William, and we'll see you all next time.